Welcome to another episode of Cesar's Modern Life. My name is Cesar Rodriguez. And, of course, sitting here with me are two great people. First, you've probably heard her before on the show. She was my girlfriend back when we did the show back in the day. She's now my wife. Carla, how's it going?
Hello.
And our friend of a few years and our roommate, Kaya, how's it going?
Really great. That was really loud too.
Yeah, you didn't have to lean in. I got you.
Oh, I don't?
No, you're good. No, I fixed it for you. So today, what day is it? The 12th? Monday, the 13th. Mm-hmm. The 13th. The governor just shut everything down again. Basically, like a lot of stuff, including malls, which is where I work, and then gyms, which is where Kaya works. And then Carla, she's still working as a flight attendant, so it's like it's all good
for now.
For now, yeah. You're gonna hear kids outside because the kids decided to invade the street today.
You know what? It's the kids from that album where they're like, "Ah!" every 5 seconds.
Oh, the sound effects. There's like rap songs. The J Electronic album.
Yeah.
The Alchemist uses it when he produces it. The kids going, yay!
So that's what it is. They're outside the window.
They're outside going, yay.
You might hear them every once in a while.
So we're here. We're hanging out. It's hot in here. That's why Kaya has a fan. So yeah, man, there's kids outside. They're yelling, but we're in here and it's hot. But we're going to be in here for a while because of the quarantine. How long has it been? 4 months now?
Wow.
4 months since we started. And it was mid-March that they closed everything down.
That's crazy.
And they started reopening, and now we're closing again. So how do you guys feel about that? What was your first reaction? Especially you, Kaya, because you work at a gym, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I heard it, I feel like I've been anticipating that it would happen. And so it was like only a matter of time. So I was walking Harley, our neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers called me and said, the governor's on TV. And I knew that was it.
Yeah.
And I just mentally was like,
you ran home real
I'm
quick?
good. Yeah. Like, this is perfect because people aren't listening anyways.
Yeah.
And clearly it's like we've seen it happen in other countries and hit them hard. We've seen our own state, New York, like get brutalized with like cases. Mm-hmm. And we saw them struggle and we just thought it was like no big deal. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Still. So it's like now it's our turn to like,
it's like
actually
what's it gonna
see
take
it.
for you to like get it.
Yeah. There's no way.
Yeah, we got what we not necessarily us, but what California, what the state, like
Texas,
what we were
Florida.
looking for. Like if you didn't take care of yourself, this is what was gonna happen. So now we're here.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I'm sure that there's more to be said about the quarantine, but we're gonna look back for a second at about a year and a half ago. Last time we had we've done big trips since then, but the wedding, Carla and I got married. Kaya was there. She was there the whole time as well. Mm-hmm. So what is something you remember at the wedding right now? What's something that's been on a story that you remember fondly? Anything?
Both of us?
Yeah,
I'm
either one.
thinking about the dessert tables, the dessert snack table at the end of the night with hella Cheetos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And like so many other snacks. Too. And at that point in time, I was like so full. I was like, I can't. Usually I will, but I can't.
We should have grabbed some for later because all those
we ate them all.
We lost them.
Wow.
We don't know where they went.
Yeah, everything that was left over was just like packed so quickly that I don't know where anything went. Like we know where the stuff that like the memory books and stuff. Where's the memory book at?
The memory books were great too.
Might be in storage actually.
Oh yeah, our memory book. Yeah.
Oh wait,
you guys have to put it here.
Oh, it's not in here.
We don't have one here?
No, I thought we had it.
But that's crazy that.
Oh.
Thought we had it. We have
put it in there.
The book that everybody signed at the wedding.
The pretty pictures.
Damn, how could it have slipped our minds?
Yeah, we don't have it on our little table display that we have.
We'll go get it for sure.
Yeah, we're about to go back to Joshua Tree, and because we were gonna go for Coachella, but it ended up not happening because the quarantine. So now we're gonna go back. How do you guys feel about our little trip that we're gonna go on?
I'm excited.
It's exciting, but it's a little bit weird, right? How are we gonna navigate all this?
I think
I'm
we're
excited
just
to be
gonna have to wing it.
outdoors. Yeah, just wing it for sure.
Like I expect we're gonna have fun because we're gonna make it fun either way. But I feel like I have no expectations, so like I feel like I can't be let down. But it's probably gonna be way better than I expected.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since we've been in the house for this long.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we see each other all the time, but it's like going somewhere like new and doing things you've never done before. That's gonna be pretty cool. That'll be exciting.
It's exciting. Yeah. Yeah, Joshua Tree. We got married and then we moved. We moved into this apartment that you're looking at now. If you tuned into the live stream that we did near the beginning of quarantine, you saw there was no art on the walls. Now there's stuff on the walls. It's very nicely decorated.
There's plants everywhere.
Yeah,
They're thriving. They're happy.
So is there anything that you've learned about yourself in the quarantine so far? Or like anything that's come up, issues in your life that you're like, oh shit, I didn't think I had to think about this.
I've had a lot of realizations, I feel like.
Yeah, I think I've definitely realized that I work way too much. Like, I think I've gotten into, like, beforehand, I was just in this routine where it was just, like, moving hours on hours, sleep,
Every
back
week.
to work. Yeah, and, so never again.
Yeah. Now you're taking it a little easier.
Yeah, definitely going to put more time into myself and, like, relationships with others. Because I used to always be like, nah, sorry, I have to work. Sorry, I can't go. Gotta work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I learned to just, it's not about not, because I would keep making excuses about stuff like projects that I wanted to do. And it was like, I don't have time. And then when I finally had the time, I didn't do it. So it wasn't like that I was putting it off because I didn't have time, because I could have made time before quarantine to make these projects done. It was about getting motivated to actually do it. And it took a while. That's why I'm only doing this now, because I've been wanting to do this for a while. We've been talking about doing a podcast for a while. But now it's time. And I don't know. I didn't figure out the motivation thing. I just started doing it again. And I'm glad where it's going. Man, they're really yelling outside.
Earlier you almost talked yourself out of it.
Yeah, it's happened like 5 times that we've been about to do this. And then I just
This time I caught it and I was like, no, that is not happening to me.
Love that. Yes, support.
What about you, Carla? Anything come up?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like which one stands out. I definitely miss not being able to hang out with my family like whenever, wherever. Like I've always known that I'm close to my family, but like I didn't know any different way. So I'm like, what is this? Like, what's happening? Like, I can't imagine like not being close to my family.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think that we all would have been traveling more. Like
Out of here.
But then on the other hand, we're like, well, we're getting our money's worth for the apartment.
Yeah,
so that's
seriously.
nice.
This
Like
is
we
like
kind
the
of
homiest home.
Yeah.
and like we moved out like at the perfect time, like made it our own, and like everything fell into place so perfectly. We like everyone in this complex like loves living here.
Yeah.
And we don't know how we got so lucky, because our downstairs neighbors, it's they've been living there for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And we just found that out today. That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And she was so nice. So cute. I don't know why I hadn't seen her before.
She just kind of hides out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been here for a while, but now it's time to get a little deeper on the show, like I have been with my past guests. So Carla, you know, we've just been married, and I've been talking about how I've been married on podcasts and stuff, but nobody's asked you what is the hardest part about being married now that we've been married for like a year. And
You're
some
right.
change.
Nobody's asked me that.
It's true.
It's true.
What is it?
Well, I'll tell you. Wait, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
The hardest part.
I'm sorry. The hardest part, I don't know. It hasn't been hard. I mean,
You could say that it hasn't been hard.
no, but I'm trying to think. I don't know. Oh, I did have a TikTok phase for like 2 days, and you were like so over it because I wasn't giving you all my attention.
What?
That's how I interpreted it. That
TikTok phase.
because I was like distracted, and you were like, "Hello, I'm still here."
Those TikTok videos take a while.
They do, but it was fun.
I don't think I was over it.
Okay, so why did you like?
I just didn't want to dance. I didn't want to do them.
Me neither. I wasn't trying to dance.
Carla's like, "Are you crazy?"
Do you know me?
I don't know. I felt like I was being supportive enough. I don't know.
Yeah, but you did get a little bit, tiny bit for 2 seconds.
I guess. I don't know.
We were over it for a little while, but anyway, I got over it, so it's fine.
Yeah. I guess TikTok is not great.
But other than that, marriage hasn't been that hard.
No. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it's been pretty easy. Kaya, what do you think about marriage now that you lived with us for a while? What do we make look good?
Or are you like, no, fuck that?
Well, I feel like I wouldn't necessarily base it off of you guys. Right now, I'm kind of like, do I really need to get married? But I think looking at your own qualities, I'd be like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to have. I feel like you guys communicate well because I've never seen you argue.
We have, but like, we know how to like handle it.
Got it. Yeah. And then
Like,
it also
not
just feels
we're
like
not
sometimes I'm like, are they just like really good friends? And then they like kiss each other and I'm like, oh, they like each other.
What do you mean? Are they
I
really
can
good?
see that.
And then also the last one that I just thought about is just like laughing. Like I feel like I'll wake up at like 9 a.m. and be like, oh, I want to go back to sleep. Like, oh, I got to do this, this, and this. And I'll come out and they'll be like laughing about something and like cracking up. And I'm like, what's so funny?
It's 9 a.m.
But like, they're always laughing. And so at least I know whenever I'm having a bad day, I'm like, just sit on the couch for a second. In like 5 minutes, you'll be laughing and you'll be like, oh, it's not that bad. So definitely
That's funny.
laughter seems like a pretty good quality to have in a
true.
marriage.
Yeah.
That's true. That's funny that you're like, are they just friends? Because I feel like we are just like also like, you're also like my buddy, you know? Like,
Yeah, we're pretty chill. Like we're friends because we like do things together like that. I don't know. I don't really feel the separation between like, oh, this is my wife and these are my friends. Even though like it happens naturally, I don't feel like it's like I'm a different person or something. Because I feel like I want to. You become that person sometimes in a relationship where you become a different person when you're with the person you're with because you're like, oh, I want to keep appearances and like I want this person to know I'm great. But then eventually you have to drop that, and that's kind of how I feel like I never had that with you because I was just like, well, I'm not trying to impress you like that.
Yeah, like we already know each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I appreciate that too.
So yeah, there's a comfort in the fact that we know each other so well. There's no like, oh, she's gonna find out who I really am. It's like, no, this is who I really am. I was like, you believe me? I wish there was, but like, I don't know. There was no front. I don't know.
I like you a lot.
Thanks. Yeah. So one thing that I think Carla and we talked about the other day about we have trouble with motivation sometimes, and for some, I feel like for Kaya, this is maybe my interpretation incorrectly of you, Kaya, but I feel like sometimes you never lack the motivation to do something. Like I feel like you're always like, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. Has that ever like or are you not that person?
I think it just depends. I think as long as I can see it,
Yeah.
then I'm motivated to like get there. But there's definitely things that like I see glimpses of and I get fearful or scared about it. And so like even if I am like motivated, I'm still like pulling myself back where I'm like, nah, like you can't do that.
Is there something right now that you're like considering that you can't?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it's like a secret or anything.
Yeah.
But
You could also have boundaries. It would be okay.
It's okay to not.
If you didn't want to tell us.
You didn't have to tell us. It's okay.
no, basically I'm just supposed to like do something that I'm qualified to do. I'm just nervous to do it in this setting.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like out there for at least a year.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like a lot of pressure because I'm like, oh, it needs to be perfect, and I've never like necessarily seen myself in this light, but I can see myself. So it's just like gaining the courage to get there. But I've been trying to motivate. I guess I have been trying to motivate myself and set like weekly goals. Like you'll have this done by this time and this done by this time, so that I feel like it's perfect. So then it's much easier to just like do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I guess I am pretty motivated. I think sometimes I'm like, all right, you've been in this at this level for a bit now. It's time to like step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think my like own personal drive of like, you're not where you want to be. So like, you might be comfortable. I'll let you be comfortable here right now for a little bit. But like after a while, you've got to do something better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel, and that's the sense I
That's
get from
very
you.
Productive.
Is a person that's always like looking to step it up.
Yeah.
I guess.
And that was
like
one of the
comfortable though too.
yeah. And that's one of the things is like, how did you reminiscing on like you the fact that you moved here to California? How did you deal with? Was there fear involved in that decision? And how did you overcome it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think I saw it. Like I was like really comfortable where I was like after college, and like I was drinking a lot, and I was like okay with my job. I wasn't like in love with it, and I was getting by. I like had all my friends that I'd met in college, but it was like I was stuck in this spot and I didn't want to be there anymore. So I actually did my teacher training. And then that kind of spiraled into like, whoa, you've got all this like history that is like weighing you down. So I think once I broke free of like some of that, I was like, cool, like there's more out there. So just go do it. And then after that, I'd say
That's so cool.
3 months after that, well, no, probably like 2 months after that, I quit my job. I moved back home. I like worked for a good 3 months at Nordstrom and like just stacked up cash.
Yeah. And for the people that don't know where it was home.
Oh yeah, I'm from Jersey, but then I was living in Baltimore, Maryland for like 2 years post college. Yeah. And so yeah, moved back home to Jersey. Made money at Nordstrom selling coats, Canada Goose for like $3,000. I was like, damn. I was like, I'll make that commission. And then, drove out here. And my mom didn't believe that I needed change. So I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I really want to move to California. And she was like, no, you don't. And I was like, okay, Mom. I was like, just so you know, I applied for a job in China to teach kids English. And I got that position. And I sent her the, like, the email that you get of, like, what your pay rate would be, like, what the move out process was. And I was like, you really don't think I need change? Yeah. And then she was like, okay, go to California. Like, we have family there. It's fine. We'll make it work. Whoa. And then she was like, all right, let's drive you out there. And I'm just like a planner. So I planned out my whole trip. I planned like, okay, this is where you should be by this point and keep going from there. So it's crazy. 3 years that I've lived here, which feels slow and like I've been here forever, but also really fast. Because I remember that moment when my mom left and I was like,
oh my God.
Because my mom and my sister are like my world. So I was like, dang, like I was away from home, but they could easily get to me. And now I'm like super far. Yeah. And I know no one.
Yeah. And then they flew back?
Yeah, they flew back home. So but now I'm here. Yeah, and now I have like a really cool set group of like family. Like I wouldn't even call you guys friends, but like family here. And my mom's always just like, whenever she talks about me being in California, she's like, yeah, like she likes her job. She does this. But like she's got a really cool group of friends that like are really supportive of her. And I'm just so grateful for them. And I'm like,
Aw.
She's like,
That's
yeah,
so
I love
cute.
her
I'm
yoga
crying.
group. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know who you met out there. I feel like some people move here and probably get, like, caught up in some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, does everything, like, I feel like after that big move you make, everything just seems easier. Like, I already did, no?
Nah.
I already did this big move. Like,
Nah.
what's stopping me now? Now it's not how you
The
feel.
emotional stuff. It's
Yeah.
like that behind the scenes stuff that
Yeah.
like weighs you down, where it's like the voice in my head that's telling me you can't do it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Damn. Like,
it's still hard. Like I put myself in this position to like do it, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's me who needs to step out there. So it's like that part is probably way worse than
Yeah.
moving somewhere you don't know.
mm-hmm. I think the same thing. Like, I would think that she's not scared, like, of, well, I mean, obviously, like, everyone's scared of something, but, like, I thought the same thing you did.
Yeah.
But then I think of my parents, and, like, my parents are, like, super, like, they have, like, a lot of anxiety of, like, worst case scenario. And I'm like, how? Like, you moved here from a different country.
Mhm.
Like, how are you so scared? Like,
Yeah.
but it's, like, just like that. Like,
Mhm.
doesn't mean you're not scared anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like from here on, it's like, what else? What's next?
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I had
And
never
it's
thought
probably
of that.
hella like they wanted it for you guys more
Yeah.
than themselves. So now it's like once they've got you guys
It's a lot
here,
of pressure.
you guys do all the things. They're like
Yeah.
like you guys were their drive.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like we owe them like so much. And I'm like, oh my God, like I have so much that I need to repay you. And I'm like, I don't know how.
Yeah.
I think doing you is like probably the best gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they see us trying and they see us doing, I don't know. I mean, if it wasn't for Carla, I wouldn't have moved out at this point. So I feel like that's a big moment that both our parents are proud of. Like we don't think about it because of everything else that happened, but like the fact that we're here where we are right now is a pretty good thing. So Carla, I asked her this question before, and we got the answers ready. So something that I asked everybody on the show, or this new version of the show, is what is something that has happened to you or that has shaped your life view? So do you want to talk about an experience like that? Go ahead.
Well, there's like one big one that I feel like is obvious, right?
Yeah. I mean, whichever one. I mean, whichever experience you want to talk about. So.
Okay. I don't think I've ever talked about it to anybody besides like my friends and family.
Yeah.
Maybe like a coworker that I'm like, I'm never going to see this person again. I'll like try to like relate to you with my story. So like I've like comforted people who went through like similar things, and I'm like, it's crazy, but like it's not you. Like you were trying to do the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
So like I've talked to people about it, but never like on this, like recorded. So I would say like the last person I dated before you, like officially.
Yeah. This is years before. Too.
Yeah, like years before. I was in a relationship where it was like it ended up like just opening my eyes to so much, because like up until then, like I feel like I had been really naive and like not on purpose. Like I just was sheltered growing up, you know?
Yeah.
So when I like, for example, like I never saw my parents fight. Mm-hmm. So one time all I knew about like couples fighting was novelas. Yeah. So then I remember being like 8 or 9, I think. I don't know how old I was, but I remember being a kid and thinking like, oh, because we saw a couple fighting on the street. And I was like, what? Like, I was just so confused because I was like, I thought that only happened on TV.
It was dramatic.
Yeah.
Like it was too dramatic for real life.
Yeah. So I was so confused. Like, but then like beyond that, like didn't think too much about it.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like the person that I was dating knew this about me, but like didn't, like, I think they like took advantage of the fact that I was so naive to like try to like, basically they lived an entire second life that I had no idea about.
Wow.
And so when I found out about it, I was like, what the fuck? So I wasn't crazy. Like, I knew something was up. Like, it was like my intuition. It was like proof that like I saw with my own two eyes, and still like, because they like the person was so sorry or like had a reason or an excuse or whatever, like I was like, okay, I guess it's fine. But because I never knew that somebody could treat somebody so ugly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the fact that like I found that out was like eye-opening, but at the same time, like I learned so much for myself that like I wouldn't take it back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because like that's where like my life took like a different turn, like for the better, you know?
It really did change your life a certain way. I mean, and how have you felt since then? I feel like you've learned from that experience, and then you even eventually forgave the person, right? Yeah. In a sense.
Yeah, like not to their face, but like I didn't feel it necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
yeah. What was I gonna say? I just feel like so lucky because I'm glad that I didn't give up on love, because I feel like some people would. Yeah. But I wasn't about to, because I had no regrets about the relationship, in that like I also like gave it, like I genuinely tried to make it work. So it's not that it was my fault. So that's why I'm like, well, fuck, like you missed out. Like, like sorry to be cocky, but like, you know what I mean? Like I knew that I had something to offer. And so that's why I was like not bummed. And I was like, well, I'm just going to have fun, you know?
And that was good. You had years where you had fun. You learned about yourself after that. And now we're here. Now we're married. Yeah. It's one of those things. Like sometimes things happen for a reason, and you experience things from them, and you grow. Like, very general saying, but it's true. It's true. So something I've always talked about my parents and how they've shaped my worldview, and how my parents did. They had arguments in front of me, and so it was. I always knew that was like a thing in a relationship. So when I would get into arguments, when I was younger, when I was in high school, like it would be like, well, we can work through with this because my parents did it too. But that's when you're in it. Obviously, it was not to the extent that you were in. But when you're a kid and you're trying to like give somebody that chance of like, well, no, like they don't mean to be that way to me, and then you just keep letting that person take advantage of you. It really lowers your self-confidence, because you never get to that point where you're like, well, I don't need to take this because I'm so great. But then the first person who gives you that attention, you're like attached to them, because they're like, well, nobody talks to me, this person does. So then you can easily get taken advantage of that. So it's I guess but everybody has to go through that in their minuscule way, like that bad relationship, whether it's a small one like a high school version of that, or a really big one. You learn from all the relationships that you go through. And
like with us, it's like like things that come up, we talk about it, and it doesn't turn into a fight, you know, because it doesn't have to, because we can just talk about it. And so that's what I was confused about. And I feel like you have to learn that no matter what. Right. Like you have to learn to not get so mad about these things, or like if you do, then it's not going to really solve anything. Because if you just give up on a relationship like that, then it's never going to work. But at the same time, see your self-worth, and if it's too much, then leave, or if you can, you know. And like it's hard to think like there's a right time, but like there never will be a good time. You just have to do it, you know. Even if you're dependent on the person, like and even now in the time of coronavirus, there's resources that'll help people to get out of these places, because that's the first people you think of, people that are locked in places with like quarantine, in places with somebody that's abusive to them, or whether mentally or physically. But like I have no idea, like it's probably easier said than done, you know. Definitely. Like you can't just say that and then be like, oh, I haven't thought of that, you know. Right. But it's definitely, you know, reaching out for help, because there's so many people that can help you, and that want to help. I'll add a place you can look up right now online. I'll do the research, because we didn't think about this beforehand, but I'll put it up there. Switching to a little bit less
less serious things. Kaya, before we get into anything deep with you,
I thought you forgot.
no. Before we get into deep with you, like how has been finding somebody to talk to or date in this world right now? You don't have to talk about any. I mean, if you have anything,
sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss meeting people. I think that is like, I genuinely look forward to meeting like new people because I'm like, ooh, what things can I learn? What things can I like provide to them that maybe they didn't have?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, like not in like a sexual way, but just like through conversations.
But
like,
also a sexual way.
But so yeah, being on like dating apps and people being like, oh, let's FaceTime. And I don't know, I'm like weird about FaceTime. I'm like, I'd rather,
I feel like
I don't know, I feel like I want to feel someone's energy and like walk up to them and be like, not feeling it.
Yeah.
Like you maybe looked good on like Instagram or whatever, but like you're right here in front of me now and not feeling it. I'd rather it like organically happen, and there is no organic right now. There's like, what's your name?
Yeah.
What are you up to this week? What's your quarantine like?
There's nothing to talk. Even not even in the dating world with like friends. It's like, what do you? If you have a lot of friends that are just at their house, like what do you even catch up on? There's no conversations to be had.
It's a lot of like therapy stuff. I'm like, how is your mental right now? Because there's some stuff going on, and then everyone with their different opinions, and I'm like, cool, I see you now. Don't want you in my life.
It's a lot of cutting people out. Yeah, and I feel like I'm not gonna forget. Like,
no,
even if I'm like, I know that I'm angry, and maybe there's more anger than necessary to people that are like just trying to have fun, even though the shit's going down. But even then, like, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. That's not an arguable fact. I mean, it's not an arguable thing. It's irresponsible, but it's hard sometimes. And I'm like, am I ever going to be able to look at the person the same way after that? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I'm trying to, but I don't think so. Do you feel like you're going to be able to forgive?
True colors. Cue the weekend.
I will not forget. No.
I don't think so either.
I'm trying to think too, like how many people am I willing to cut out of my life? Like half? It's not half. Like how many would you be willing to?
I don't know. And it's easier said than done, right?
It's fat anyway.
True.
Yeah, true.
Like if it's an acquaintance that I like knew through a friend, I'm like, I don't need to follow this person.
Yeah.
True. So Kaya, now it's your turn to answer the question about an event in your life that has shaped you. Yeah.
I don't know if I have like a really, well, I guess they all are big, but I'm just gonna like briefly what's coming to my mind right now. My mom and my dad's relationship, and the ups and downs, because I was the first child, and then my fully blood sister is the last child. My dad had 5 kids, so it was a lot to kind of see like my dad be with my mom and then it not work out, and then to like have kids with another woman and then have another kid with another woman and then come back to my mom. I'm like, ooh, it's a lot. And just like the pain my mom was in. So that was like a lot. When I went to my teacher training, was like unpacking all of that, like trauma that went on. But like talking to my dad right before I actually left to move to California was like a really great conversation where it's like everyone's human, and like, I mean, just understand that people go through different things, and like to be able to sit there and listen to them explain like their life story and just be like, I hear you, and like I can understand where you might have been at that point in time. So that I think has also carried into like my relationships with people, and just like I'm very like, you could say one thing, but if like I don't see that you're following your word, like not worth it. But then also like seeing the strength of my mom just be like, we're gonna figure this out. Now that's why I think I'm always like, there's nothing too hard to like get to, no place too hard to get to, because it's like there's moms out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, all moms are just like badass.
Yeah, it's true. So the last question before we wrap it up, because we're burning up here, is something I like to ask a few people. I didn't ask everybody so far. Is just if there's something you've seen, like a piece of art that has made you react a certain way. All right, Kaya, so you go first.
Okay. One more time with the question.
So the question is a piece of art that you've seen, like a song or a movie or even a book that you read that's affected you in any way. It's made you look at life a certain way. It doesn't have to be that deep.
Okay, I've been like dabbling in a lot of different things, and I haven't quite finished everything, but it's kind of like cool because everything kind of ties together. So I mean, just a lot of like self-discovery stuff and bettering yourself. So I started with that free Yale class. Like it was like how to be like your happiest or something like that. I don't know. Didn't quite finish it. But great tips from there, and learned about some of my strengths and qualities about myself, and ways that I can tweak things in my life to like be happier. I was also reading 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That ties into, again, different things. And from there, I've been wanting to do my mission statement, but I've been slacking. But now I'm doing a advanced theming with raw yoga. And so the reason why I did it was they were talking about coming up with your mission statement as a yoga teacher and for yourself. And I was like, bingo,
perfect.
need that. And then I've also been listening to like different podcasts. Unpack and Bounce Back is my shit right now because I relate with those women so much. And I'm like, dang, I didn't think there were people out there like me.
Yeah.
That like, I don't really like talk to everyone. I do, but I don't like talk to everyone. So I'm like, oh, this is okay.
What is the podcast about?
To be selective. They talk about different topics. This like past week was about friendships. And just like your role and like what kind of people you attract to be friends with and what they see you as, I guess, before maybe actually getting to really know you and like relationships. And they do a lot of spirituality stuff. So like, energy and things like that. So I'm like, oh, so cool. So yeah, everything's just kind of like more discovering of like who I am. And I got my aura read and I'm like, gotta do better.
Yeah.
But you know exactly what you're working on. So that's great because it's like it's all connected. But at least you can have like a set goal, I guess.
And it's great to have all this time. Just play around, do different things.
Well, thank you for sharing. Just not dating.
Right now.
Not date, which is perfect because I'm learning myself. Future husband, you learn yourself.
Get it together. What about you, Carla?
Well, that's going to be tough to follow, Kaya.
No!
I'm just kidding. It's okay. I loved it. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Oh, yeah. I was like, what was I going to say? The Expanded podcast is the podcast I've been listening to pretty consistently now for like a few months. I don't even remember when I went. It must have been last year for sure. So it's been about almost a year that I've been listening to this podcast. I think. Anyway, today's episode or the latest episode, I don't know when it came out, but the latest episode was an interview with the host of the show with Young Pueblo. He's like he has an Instagram account where he like shares things that he's learned about like his meditation practice and like just like it's like, okay, not that it's cliche, but like, you know, those cliche quotes like that apply to a lot of people, like when you all like
you deserve better,
type of thing, but like more deep, but like things that you end up seeing all over the place, you know what I mean, because they're relatable to a lot of people. So it's like I would send something to Kaya or I would send something to Sam or my sisters because like I can relate to it. So he has one of those accounts. I guess maybe it's poetry, I'm not sure. But anyway, moral of the story or point of all this was to say that it was a good episode, and you guys should check it out because he talks about what he does to just like keep himself motivated. And it was exactly what I needed to listen to, because like what we were talking about yesterday was that I feel unmotivated, but I don't know if it's that I'm like making excuses to stay in my comfort zone, or am I scared? And like, what am I scared of? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it was a good episode because I realized like, shit, like I know I can do better. I need to like get past this point. And I'm like, it's hard for me to get past that point. So that's why I was like asking you if I should like see a therapist, because I'm like, I don't know how to get out of this rut type of thing. But it's like, is that normal right now? Because like nothing is normal right now. So it's like, is this okay? Or am I like being lazy? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think it's it could be that you don't feel motivated to take that step, but it's all but it's also because of the way the world is right now that it's like, what's the point? Like we're all kind of, sometimes it does feel like that. We're like, fuck, nothing matters, you know?
Yeah, it sucks because it does.
It does matter, yeah.
Time's still going.
Yeah, time's still moving,
still
and
older.
you still have all this time to grow and improve, but it's okay if you can't do it one day. Like if you can't get through the day, you can't get through that work that one day, then it's okay, like to take a break for that day, you know? Well, thank you for sharing your guys' stuff. I will do mine now. And I have one I watched, and I'll ask yours in a second. I watched this movie on Hulu called Palm Springs. I watched it by myself and then with Carla. Well, Kaya watched it too. It's a movie with Andy Samberg, and essentially it's about somebody repeating the same day over and over again. And I thought it was really interesting that they released it right now in the quarantine. It wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to come out in the movie theaters, but it just happened to fall on Hulu. So the movie is about two people living the same day over and over again. And I just thought it was interesting because in the quarantine, it feels like that over and over again. And I think the movie itself was about, you're doing this over and over again. And even if you're not in the same day over and over again, it might feel like it, but it's about what you do in that day that keeps repeating and what you learn from it, even if it's repetitive, that matters. So, and who you're with, I think. So like, even if Carla and I, and all three of us are locked in here and it feels like we're living the same day over and over again, it's what we do when we're in here and who we're with that matters. And I think that's really important. And I'm happy that I'm in here with you guys. That's it. We're going to end it. We're going to end that there. I wanted to say thank you to Kaya and Carla. Carla, thank you for sharing your story. I didn't think you were going to talk about that, but I appreciate you sharing that. I don't want to just breeze by and say that was not a big deal or anything. That was a big deal. And thank you for being so open about that.
Thanks.
And Kaya, you too. Kaya, you mentioned how you're not very emotional, so that was cool that you opened up to us, and we appreciate it.
Awesome. Now that we have this second quarantine, we're all going to work on our stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll meet you when things open and close again.
Oh, there you go. So before we go, I said that I try to mention charity every episode, and there's one that helps abused women and children get out of their situations. Before COVID, they were helping women and children when they were to leave and they have no back to school material or no Christmas presents because they had to leave sometimes in the middle of the night with no nothing on them, just what they had. So this charity called Friends and Helpers, they're based in Southern California. You can go to friendsandhelpers.org. I'll put that right there. I've done a few of their events. They do fun back to school events where you pack backpacks for kids and stuff. It's ran by one of the guys that I used to listen to on the radio and his wife. So friendsandhelpers.org. You can spell it out. Friends and the word and helpers.org. And that's it. I'll be back next week with a new episode. Thank you guys once again.
Thank you.
And keep it funky, keep it fresh, keep it sexy, and we're out. Bye.